Okay, so we're there with you, as we are saying. And next Wednesday, we'll go through the PSAs. We have a special program tonight. Special.
This hour that they call Holy Thursday, it was that time I reached Barnet, 14 Barnet Street. When I reached there, Bustamante start to gather soldiers and police in abundance to search for Rasta. When I reached the station, I see a bulk of people. Rasta and who is not Rasta is there. Beating is going on from all angles. They have a long hose that they turn on, use to water the place there. So it have a piece of iron down here, and it have a piece up here where it's screwing on the pipe. So them turn on the pipe now, and the water running through the hose. And then put us down, to kneel down in a gutter way, and start to beat.
With the hose?
Yes, with the hose and big stick and all different type of lick.
So they turn on, what are they doing with the water?
When them lick you and the blood start flow, they turn on the water and wash with the blood.
What a wicked act.
At that time now, Bustamante never come down. Thursday now, Friday morning, which is the time of crucifixion, Bustamante come down.
The Good Friday for them and the Bad Friday.
Yes, and the Bad Friday for her. Yeah. Bustamante come down now with a battalion of police. More police more than soldier. And them start to beat. And them have a
beating in front of Busta now?
Right in front of
the Prime Minister witnessing the beating?
Right in front of Bustamante.
Who they beating?
Please?
Just everybody that get beaten?
Everybody who is inside getting beaten. You have 9 cells run by 14 Barnet Street. And from the first one to the 9th, it's packed with people. And people still coming in. So as you come in, you start to get beaten from both sides. Soldier here, police here. Who no butt you, box you. Who no kick you. Them do every type of thing to us at that time. Bustamante was there. And he said to them, say, beat them, and let them say Rastafari and Babylon stand. And if I don't kill out Rasta, beat them, and let them say Rastafari and Babylon stand. And if I don't kill out Rasta out of Jamaica, God forbid me.
So you heard when Busta said
I heard that with my ears, Sister Angie.
Bongo Frank, you heard that with your ears?
I heard that with my ears.
I ask you this, Bongo Frank, because we hear this all the while. And at first we are talking to somebody who actually hear it with them.
I heard that with my ears.
Yes.
Empress Andrea.
Tell us what he said again. Tell us what the Prime Minister said.
Bustamante is the Prime Minister. He has on a cream serge pants, a striped blue shirt with white background. He has on a black water boot, and the bottom of it red. He had a 22 in his side. And him said to the police them, anyway you see 1 or 2, bring them in, dead or alive. And what 14 Barnet Street cannot hold, Borg will hold them.
And Borg is the cemetery?
Yes, ma'am. So, while we were there now, I witnessed the cell that I was at, number 1 cell. 35 person in 1 cell. You cannot lay down, you cannot sit up. You have to stand on 1 foot. And when that foot tired, you stand on the other one. 35 person. 35 person in 1 cell.
And that cell can hold about how much people?
It can hold about 20.
35. So you have to stand up 1 foot at a time.
And
how long you stand up like that in a cell?
No, you can't stand up no long time, So you have to stand on the foot and ease it, and stand on the foot and ease it. The man who sit down, if him get up, him can't go back at that space. The man who stand up, and if him try to get a seat, him can't find by the same space where part him come from. What's the man to take us out? And he tried to transfer us from 14 Barnet Street to Hanover, the barrack prison. I was there for 3 months without trial. And beaten in every one of the stations that you go to. No mercy never sure to Rasta at that time. Bustamante look upon the people and say, Busta say, if him don't kill out the Rasta people and ganja.
So, we want to present this documentary here. As we say, for those of you interested in this documentary, you can check iNation. All right, as we're going to find the phone number, but iNation, or you can check Mitzi, or you can check IRV. You understand? It was a very important documentation that document the Coral Garden incident. So
the Union Jack is lowered, and the new flag of Jamaica raised.
Everybody is in fear. Everybody is in a panic because we have been victimized. We have not known what is going to happen to us. We are suffering.
Yeah, man, the wickedest fight Rasta get in Jamaica was through the Coral Gardens thing.
What a war to bust the cabinet, singing what a war. The what a war to bust the cabinet, singing what a war. Buster Manti come blind now. The second one come dead now. And Mr. Shearer come share out himself.
Yes, let's start up on the chanters. Drummers. I have been the drummers. Step forward, please. We go start. The order, no. Drummers, chanters. We go start the meditation. I hear the power of his madness. We go hear them give reverence to Haile Selassie.
I was beaten, sent to prison without a cause.
Well, we tell that now. It is a very long story.
I confident the power of Haile Selassie Rastafari to deliver out of the hand of this wicked system in Jamaica.
He apologized him for what had taken place unto Rasta 1963. But apology can be empty and just a word used. Where is the recompense?
Yeah.
While Jamaica is arguably one of the most beautiful places in the world, it is also beset by a per capita murder rate rivaled only by Colombia and South Africa. Most observers attribute the high rates of murder and violent crime to the various failures of the Jamaican economy and the development of political partisanship during the mid-20th century. As the People's National Party and the Jamaica Labour Party built their constituencies, political gangs developed to intimidate voters and cement political garrisons. Leaders of these gangs maintained close links with politicians, creating a situation that would later become known as political tribalism.
I saw men from Tivoli go to the police vehicle parked before the Tivoli court and throw a bomb inside. The vehicle exploded and caught fire.
To fully understand the story of political violence in Jamaica, we also have to understand how Jamaica's most iconic community, Rastafarians, were demonized and persecuted by the Jamaican government in the early years.
Capture the eye and the nobles, don't you know we are fanatic? Capture the eye and the nobles, don't you know we are fanatic? Capture the eye and the nobles in the round.
And for many years, Rastafarians were concentrated in a community called Bakawal. This community was adjacent to Coronation Market, the largest market in Kingston. In 1966, Bakawal was razed by then Minister of Development and Welfare Edward Siaga, who sent bulldozers to destroy the ramshackle dwellings that had been erected, ultimately replacing all the residents with supporters of the ruling Labour Party. Rastafarians were dispersed to other areas of the country where many had already taken up residence in rural outposts and hilltops. Some in Jamaica consider this dispersal to be the single most formative moment in the movement, but it was preceded by a string of persecutions. Principal among these persecutions was the Coral Gardens incident, also known as Bad Friday.
My birthful name is Isaac Wright, born 1935.
Here come the Rastaman.
My name Enid.
Enid what?
Empress Enid still.
Yo, you come out today. You see that now?
Over hills and valleys and plains. My birthplace is Sun Rivers. My post office is Cambridge. I went to be cadet at school, which I get great knowledge. To we loyalty to Jah.
My name is Fillmore Alvarado. I come to the Rasta movement in 1936 when I saw a photograph with His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie.
Well, you know, in the youthful days coming up, I was moving with a Rastaman, and I hear him speaking of Haile Selassie as a returned Messiah. And it's by 2 millilect then, caused the Ark and the Covenant to trot from Jerusalem unto Ethiopia, guided by the Archangel Michael. So we acknowledge the divine consciousness of His Majesty, and we look upon the coronation of His Majesty. 1930, we coronate as King of Kings and Lord of Lords, the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. And we know that that is the title that the Christ must return according to Revelation 19.
When the movement was founded in the 1930s, going back to Africa was one of the central tenets of the movement. And the reason why they didn't agitate on it at the time, in that first decade, was simply because they had a bigger task, namely to convince people that Haile Selassie was God. Because if you convinced people that Haile Selassie was in fact the Son of God or God Himself, then the whole question of repatriation, of returning to Zion, the seat of His Majesty's power, would follow, I think, logically.
The system was very cruel to anyone who did not conform or did not seem to conform to their thinking. I mean, it happens at school, it happens in the workplace. So you began to see the different types of abuses and I would say extreme fear for the unknown. How dare you question the status quo? And that basically was what Rastafarians were doing.
One time, you know, according to how the government look at it, Rastaman was like, you know, worthless and, you know, people never look at them as hopeful and conscious people. So, you know, police would just harass you for nothing at all, you know.
The truth and in fact, Rasta was like a species in Jamaica where we have to stay on the edge of society. Like you have to stay both in
The informative information presented in this video is motivational and is positively aimed at inspiring, educating and entertaining the viewers with the cutting edge of critical reasoning. If you enjoy the contents on the Black Radar YouTube channel, please consider subscribing to show your support.